New tonight, we're following a battle over property rights that could have ripple effects across the Maine coast. It all centers on who owns intertidal areas and how the public can use the space. The fight is now going to the state Supreme Court. News Maine's Donovan Lynch reports.
In Wells, the future of the Maine coast could hinge on words written centuries ago.
That's been the law in Maine ever since Maine was a state and even before statehood.
Anyone can understand that our society is different than it was since then.
A group of Mainers is appealing to the state's highest court, seeking greater public use of this area on Moody Beach, between the high tide mark and the low tide mark.
That there are certain things that can't be owned and that are resources that belong to everybody.
Over two cases in the 1980s, the Maine Supreme Court ruled that this intertidal zone belonged to the beachfront landowners, and the public could only go here to hunt, fish, and boat. It's a notion that goes back to when Maine was Massachusetts and Massachusetts was England.
It's based on this ordinance from Massachusetts from the 1600s.
Keith Richard is the lawyer representing the leader of the group, seeking a court ruling that would allow for things like recreation on this zone. He's hoping to show that a law first printed in the Massachusetts Body of Liberties in 1647 sets up an absurd reality centuries later.
You can take aim and fire at birds, but you can't go bird watching.
But for the beachfront property owners, the law is clear and has been from colonial times to a recent ruling in a lower court.
Court decisions going all the way from the beginning of the state all the way up through, a few years ago have all recognized private ownership of the tidelands.
Chris Keyser is the lawyer representing one of the beachfront property owners in this dispute. He says now is not the time to reverse course on ownership.
So a decision in the year 2024 that takes that away, that the rights that these property owners have had, would be a taking.
And we're told the beachfront property owners will file a response to the appeal sometime in August. In Wells, Donovan Lynch, News Center, Maine.